Hi and welcome to True Crimes and Mysteries. In this episode, we'll dive deep into the chilling case of the Keddie Cabin Murders, a brutal crime that has haunted a small community in California for decades and remains unsolved to this day. Our story begins on April 11th, 1981, in Keddie, California, a small resort town nestled in the Sierra Nevada mountains, known for its stunning landscapes and outdoor recreational opportunities. Keddie was a popular getaway for families. The Keddie Resort, where the events of our story take place, featured a series of cabins that provided a peaceful escape from the hustle and bustle of daily life. Among the visitors to Keddie that spring was Glenna Sue Sharp, known simply as Sue. At 36 years old, Sue was a devoted mother of 5, raising her children, John, Sheila, Tina, Rick and Greg, on her own. Sue was known for her caring nature and the love she had for her children. She had taken her family to the cabin for a weekend trip, hoping to enjoy quality time together in the beautiful surroundings. On the evening of April 11th, Sue, Tina and John, who was 15, along with his friend Donna Wingate, who was 17, settled into the cabin. The night seemed typical. They shared stories, watched television, and enjoyed each other's company. Meanwhile, Sue's 2 younger children, Greg and Rick, were also in the cabin with their friend Justin. Sheila had decided to spend the night at a friend's house, not far from the cabin. As night fell, the atmosphere turned eerily quiet. On the morning of April 12th, Sheila returned home and met the unusual silence coming from the Sharp cabin. What she found was a scene of horror. The bodies of Sue, John, and Dana were discovered brutally murdered. A neighbor rescued Rick, Greg, and Justin, who was found unharmed. Sue had been stabbed multiple times, while John and Dana showed signs of severe trauma, including multiple stab wounds. The sight was horrifying, and the community was left in shock, struggling to comprehend the brutality of the crime. Local authorities were immediately notified, and investigators descended upon the scene, beginning the painstaking process of collecting evidence and interviewing potential witnesses. As police worked tirelessly to piece together the events leading up to the murders, they realized that the case was even more complex than it first appeared. The most distressing revelation was that Tina, Sue's youngest daughter, was missing. She had last been seen the night before, and now, in the wake of the gruesome crime, her whereabouts were unknown. The investigation into the Keddie Cabin Murders became a frantic search for both answers and Tina. Authorities combed the nearby woods and surrounding areas, hoping to find any clues about her fate. They also launched a thorough investigation into the background of the victims, seeking to uncover any possible motives for the horrific attack. As police began interviewing neighbors and friends, they learned of a few suspicious individuals seen around the area. One of the names that surfaced was that of James Jim McGowan, a local man with a criminal record. Jim had previously been involved in violent incidents, and his name quickly became a focal point in the investigation. Authorities questioned him extensively, but he denied any involvement in the murders. Despite the extensive search and investigation, Tina Sharp remained missing. Days turned into weeks, and the absence of solid leads began to frustrate investigators. The community, too, was gripped by fear. A killer was on the loose, and no one knew if they were safe. Rumors began to swirl, and speculation ran rampant about what might have happened to Tina. In the months following the murders, the investigation stalled. A few tips and leads came in, but none produced any significant results. Local authorities began to fear that the case might go cold, and it became increasingly challenging to maintain public interest in finding answers. However, Sue's family continued to advocate for the investigation, urging law enforcement not to give up. As the years passed, the Keddie Cabin Murders continued to haunt those who lived in the area. In 1983, 2 years after the murders, a new lead emerged when a witness claimed to have seen Tina with a man in a vehicle shortly after the murders took place. This sighting reignited hope that answers might finally be within reach, and investigators followed up on this lead. However, they faced numerous challenges as the witness's recollection was vague and no substantial evidence could be gathered. On April 11, 1984, a bottle collector discovered the cranium portion of a human skull and part of a mandible at Camp 18 near Feather Falls in neighboring Butte County, roughly 8 kilometers from Feather Falls, California. The remains were confirmed by a forensic pathologist to be those of Tina in June 1984. Shortly after announcing the discovery, the Butte County Sheriff's Office received an anonymous call that identified the remains as belonging to Tina, but the call was not documented. In the late 1990s, a significant development occurred when the case was featured in a documentary series focused on unsolved murders. This brought renewed attention to the Keddie murders, and tips began to pour in from viewers who were intrigued by the chilling story. Investigators re-examined the evidence and conducted interviews with individuals who may have had information about the case. In 2000, the case took another unexpected turn when authorities received a tip about a possible connection to a local group of individuals with criminal backgrounds. This group was known for engaging in illicit activities, and investigators began to dig deeper into their backgrounds. However, despite extensive questioning and surveillance, no solid evidence linked them to the murders. In 2013, over 3 decades after the crime, the Keddie Cabin Murders were once again thrust into the spotlight when the case was featured on national television. The renewed media attention sparked interest from amateur sleuths and true crime enthusiasts, prompting a flood of new tips and theories. In the wake of this renewed interest, the Plumas County Sheriff's Office announced they were revisiting the case. Investigators began to analyze the evidence collected over the years, including DNA samples that had been preserved since the crime. The hope was that advancements in forensic technology might provide new insights into the murders and help identify a suspect. The Keddie Cabin Murders have left a lasting impact on the community. For many residents, the case represents a deep scar that has never fully healed. The once peaceful mountain town was thrust into a world of fear and uncertainty, and the unresolved nature of the case has only intensified that feeling. Today, the Keddie Cabin remains a haunting reminder of that tragic night. The site has become a place of pilgrimage for true crime enthusiasts and those seeking to understand the mysteries surrounding the case. While the cabin itself has been abandoned for years, the memories of the events that transpired within its walls continue to resonate. As we reflect on the Keddie Cabin Murders, we are reminded of the profound pain that unresolved cases can cause. The families of the victims and the community continue to seek justice and closure. For them, the story of Sue Sharp, her children, and the haunting mystery of Tina Sharp remains an open wound, one that time has not healed. If you have any information regarding the Keddie Cabin Murders or any related cases, please contact the appropriate authorities. Every detail, no matter how small, could help bring closure to families still searching for answers. Thank you for joining us as we explored the tragic story of the Keddie Cabin Murders. Until next time, take care of each other and stay safe.